Welcome to the One Girl Travel Podcast, episode number 66.
Welcome to the One Girl Travel Podcast, your passport to the world of solo travel, with certified life and travel coach, Alessia Tenebruso. Join Alessia as she shares her own journey of self-discovery through solo travel, while also focusing on topics such as life coaching insights and travel tips along the way. Now, here's your host, Alessia Tenebruso.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode number 66 of the One Girl Travel Podcast. Today, as you're listening to this, is the last day of February, which means tomorrow, March 1st, Friday, the new One Girl Travel Manifesto edition comes out. So I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands, but I am. But anyways, it comes out and I'm excited because there's some big news in this month's manifesto, such as the second ever One Girl Travel group trip. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this trip and this itinerary. It's something I've really wanted to do for a long time. And the fact that I was able to get this in for this year, I was worried I would have to wait until 2025 to do this trip, is just like the best thing ever. And I cannot wait to share it with all of you. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can probably see the excitement on my face because I'm just so excited. And that should just be incentive enough to make sure that you're on the mailing list so you receive your copy of the manifesto. But you know there's always going to be more in there. I'm always providing as much information as I can and making each edition just so fun and full of information for all of you. So if you are not on the One Girl Travel mailing list yet, what are you waiting for? Get on there, go to onegirltravel.com and sign up and go check out the manifesto for March because it's going to be epic. Yay. Okay. Anyways, let's get into this week's podcast episode, which I actually wanted to address a comment from one of my community members on Instagram that they left on a post of mine from, weeks ago. It's pretty old, but it's something I've still thought about ever since she sent it to me. Now, I love when all of you send me questions. I love when you inquire about my life and, what I do. And this one really is important because it brought to my attention that people might assume things about other people because of social media, and it's not always the case. So I'm going to read you her comment and I want to talk about it. So the comment was, "This is a genuine question. How do you afford to live your life traveling the way you do? Are you super rich? Your lifestyle is hardly within reach of the average person. I'm not being rude. I'm genuinely curious." And let me just say, I did not take this as being rude. I just took it as what it was. It was curiosity. And I can see how somebody might assume that somebody's wealthy because of travel. And I feel like a lot of people have it in their head that travel's like this once in a lifetime experience, that you can only do it once and you have to, save up for years and do all this research, and it's a really big thing. And I just want to remind you that travel is not a once in a lifetime experience. It doesn't have to be anyway. Yes, maybe if it's this super elaborate, extravagant trip that's very, very, very expensive, that's a different story. But average travel and even budget travel is very much obtainable by anybody if you save for it and you make it a priority. So, how I answered this comment was that I'm not super rich and I am an average person. And at the time, I was working my full time corporate job still. So it's not like I even had unlimited vacation time either. It's a matter of what social media is showing, because again, social media is a highlight reel of somebody's life. It's not their everyday life. If I was to post my everyday life on my Instagram all the time, you guys would be bored. You want to watch me sit at a computer and work all day? Especially when I was having my corporate job. You want me to film my commute and sitting in a cubicle? I don't think that's very interesting. But what is interesting is travel, and I happen to take a lot of photographs and videos when I travel. So I'm constantly repurposing those videos because I'm not traveling all the time, despite what it may look like on social media. And that goes to remind you that social media isn't what it always looks like. There could be people that look super confident on social media, but in reality, they're shy and they're timid and they don't want to stand out. What happens is when you have a keyboard in front of you and you have that distance from people, you get to put on this persona of who you want to be, which is great. I love acting as if, I love portraying my future self as much as possible. That's something that I've used as a tool to help me grow my confidence. But it depends on the person. If you are an authentic person, if you want to show up as your truest self, if you want to be real, then you have to show up as who you are. And that means sharing the highs and the lows. And I've been trying to get more comfortable doing that because this is not all highs. I mean, I quit my 14-year corporate career and just went all in on myself and my dreams. And that was scary. And I know I shared that with my YouTube viewers. I shared a little behind the scenes video of the day I gave my notice at my job. And again, a little incentive for you to watch me on YouTube because I throw in little behind the scenes moments for you. Um, but this is not all just happy and exciting and travel and, ease and all that. This whole thing, this life that I created for myself includes highs and lows, a lot of tears and a lot of laughs, and a lot of uncertainty. I've never been a full time entrepreneur before. I'm figuring it out as I go, and I'm sharing that with all of you. But I'm also sharing the confidence that I've learned from solo travel, and that's real. That's so real. And it's something that I want you all to realize that you can have also when you put in that work. And again, I'm not sugarcoating it for anybody. There's going to be hard work involved to get to that point if you don't feel confident right now. This all takes hard work. If you want to solo travel, if you want to start a business, if you want to, start a relationship, whatever it is, it takes hard work internally and externally. And I've shared on previous podcast episodes also about my 2023, the internal work that I had no plans of doing that I ended up having to do. It threw me for a curveball, but I knew if I wanted to grow as a person, and my focus last year was relationships. If I wanted to be in a healthy relationship and I wanted to feel good in relationships, then I had to figure out what was stopping me from feeling that way. And I mean, I had a very different path in mind, but I had to do a whole just reboot of where I was going and what I was doing. And I honestly don't think I would have gotten to this point if I didn't do that work. And that work involved a lot of tears. I mean, I was crying every day for months. And of course, I show clips of it, but I'm not going to show all of it because that's not the definition of who I am. And I just want you to remember that when you are scrolling on social media, when you see these people that look like they're super wealthy, that they look like their life is so easy, that again, it's just their highlight reel. That's not their everyday life. They're arguing with their husbands, they're fighting with their kids. Their house isn't always, Instagrammable. I'm sure there's dust some places and clutter. Life isn't perfect, and that's a great thing. If life was perfect, it would be so boring. Who wants just a boring, perfect life where everything goes right and everything's predictable? I mean, yeah, it sounds okay, but it's not interesting. It's not really something that has character. And I think showing your character and showing who you really are, showing up as your true self, and not giving a crap about what anybody else thinks of you is powerful. And I was just talking to one of my friends this week about that topic, specifically about showing up on social media and doing it imperfectly. And not worrying about if it's curated, if you have the, perfect graphics and image and things to say. And I told her, I'm like, you just have to do it. You just need to put yourself out there and try and share the journey with your audience. Share that you don't know what you're doing. Share that you're nervous. Share that you're scared. Share it all, because what you're doing, if any of you do want to have a social media following, a profile, a presence on social media where you're helping other people, what you're doing is showing up for them. When I show up, it's not for me. I'm showing up for you so I can share with you what I know, so I can help you grow, so I can help you feel confident doing things by yourself and not having to depend on anybody else for what you want to do in your life, to make you responsible for your happiness. That is my goal here. And I show up when I'm tired and when I'm sad and angry, whenever, because I need to share it with you, because I don't want to hold anything back from you. When I question myself and when I start to doubt what I know and what I'm capable of, all that's doing is preventing me from sharing my knowledge with you. And that's doing everybody a disservice, because this isn't about me. And if you're trying to grow social media, it's not about you either. It's about your audience. It's about who you want to help. And when you have sight of that, when you know who you want to help, and this doesn't even go for social media, like this goes for everything in your life. If you know the reason why you want to do something and it's to serve others, then you put those people in your foreground and you focus on them. How can I help? How can I show up and be an example? Maybe you're a mother, caregiver, a teacher, whatever, and you're setting an example for other people, team leader, anything. You're showing up and being an example and you're helping others. Now, in the same breath, you also have to help yourself. And that's where you need to pay attention to what you need, to pay attention to your internal compass when you're starting to feel low or drained or tired or whatever. And that's where I truly feel solo travel comes into play. Solo travel is just like the fuel to self compassion and growth and self love and just time for yourself, because you are just blocking out everybody else and you're taking care of you. Now, maybe you don't want to solo travel. Maybe there's something else like reading a book, going for a walk, taking a bath, whatever it is. But taking that time for yourself, that's what's going to help you just fill up your tank so you can be present for other people. So you can show up as the best version as yourself, so you can be the best version for everybody else also. So I know this went a little all over the place. I don't script my podcast, if you haven't noticed, as I bang my remote, my microphone. I don't script my podcasts, and I do that for a reason, because I'm all about being authentic. And when I'm reading from a script, you'll know it. It's not natural for me. I feel uncomfortable reading from a script, and it's just something that I don't feel aligned with. I'm not into the academia sort of way of learning. I like to do the more social way of learning, where I am speaking to you and interacting with you. And I just prefer it this way. So thank you for being here with me as I go in multiple directions at once with this podcast. But honestly, it really all comes together. It's about just being authentic, being yourself, showing up as who you are and not worrying about what other people think of you. That's truly, I feel like that's the key to everything in life. There's so many instances where you want to do something, but then you question yourself about, okay, what are people going to think of me if I go on that solo trip? What are people going to think of me if I start dating again? What are people going to think of me if I quit my job? And the truth is, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks of you. The only thing that matters is what you think of yourself. Are you happy with yourself? Are you happy with the decisions you're making? And if so, own it. Do what you want to do and own it. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. If you know that this is something that is important to you, you show up anyway. You show up scared and you show up uncomfortable, whatever it is, you show up. And especially in the social media world, you show up as yourself. Don't give in to what everybody else is doing. Don't follow all the trends. You don't have to buy 100 Stanley Cups unless you really, really love the Stanley Cups, whatever. But like, you don't have to do all of that. The only person you need to impress in this life is yourself. And yes, it feels like a lot of pressure on social media. I'm not going to lie. When you have to worry about followers and views and likes and comments and subscriptions and all of that, it can take a toll on you. It takes a toll on me when I'm working hard to create this reel that I think everybody's going to love and I'm like so excited about it, and then I get like 5 likes. I'm like, "Oh, that sucks." But I've learned to do it anyway, to keep going, to put out stuff that I don't think is that great, but I know it has a good message. Maybe it's not visually appealing, but it's still going to help somebody. I have to get over myself, and you have to get over yourself. Just do it and stop worrying about what other people are going to think of you. And remind yourself that the only opinion of you that matters is yours, and be okay with that. So I do want to offer you some like tangible tips to help you feel more comfortable doing the things you want to do without worrying about what other people think of you. And my first tip would be to make a list. I love lists. I mean, I start every day with a list, but write a list of qualities that you love about yourself. You have to hype yourself up and be your own biggest cheerleader in this life. Don't expect anybody to love you more than you're going to love yourself. So write that list and really pay attention to the attributes about yourself that you really appreciate. And then if you do want to do something and you're questioning yourself, write down why you want to do it. Be clear about your reason for why you want to do whatever it is you want to do, whether it's solo travel, start a social media, relationship, whatever. Write it down, get clear, and keep that with you. Keep that in your pocket so you always know the reason why you're doing it. And make sure that reason is strong enough for you to push through whenever you feel discomfort and whenever you're questioning yourself. Make sure that that reason will drive you forward always. And I know I've repeated that many, many times before. The third thing I want you to do is to practice doing things that are uncomfortable, because the more you do things that feel uncomfortable, the easier it's going to get. Now, this doesn't always have to be in alignment with the thing that you really want to do, like your main goal, but just little things in your everyday life that feels uncomfortable. I mean, today I'm wearing hot pink leggings, and that might not seem like a big deal to many of you, but for me, I own like 15 pairs of black leggings. And I'm like, "Oh man, I'm gonna wear these pink leggings today." And I mean, nobody's really gonna see them, but I see them, I'm wearing them, and it wasn't comfortable at first. Like, it's highlighting some areas on my body that I love, but I might want to change a bit. So I'm wearing them anyway. So today, wearing hot pink pants. Uncomfortable. Check. What can you do today that feels uncomfortable? And then tomorrow, what can you do? The next day, what can you do? Do these little things, because that's what just makes you more like immune to not giving a shit about what other people think of you, and to show up as your authentic self, whether it's in your everyday life or on social media. But again, like, you just have to be yourself. You just have to be authentic. If you're showing up as being unauthentic, as you're showing up being somebody else or pretending to be somebody else, you're going to get figured out. It's not something that you can do forever. And if you do pretend to be somebody else forever, that's exhausting. What kind of life is that, to just pretend to be something that you're not? Now, I'm not saying, maybe you want to be like this super elegant, wealthy woman, right? And you don't feel that way right now. So you act as if. That's different if you're taking steps to become her. But if you want to be this elegant, wealthy woman and you're just continuing to live your life the way you're living it, and not doing anything towards that goal, then you're pretending. Then it's different. You have to take action on those goals. You can wish and hope and pray all you want, but you have to take action. That's the only way you're going to get there. And the only way to take action and feel good about that is to be uncomfortable, to do what feels uncomfortable. So it doesn't have to be a big thing. Just little things. Maybe it's staring somebody in the face. Like, I know back in the day, I would never look anybody in the eye if I was passing them, especially if it was a man. Oh my gosh, I would look away so fast. And now I make eye contact, and not only do I make eye contact, I say I say hello and smile to everybody I pass. And I'm like, all right, I I don't feel uncomfortable anymore. If they feel uncomfortable, that's their problem, not mine. Like, I want to say hi. I want to show up as myself. If you've met me in person, if you're my friend or an acquaintance, you know I talk to everybody now. I love interacting with people. So I'm going to do that with strangers because you never know who you might meet, or you might not know if maybe you make somebody's day by being friendly and kind to someone. And it might feel uncomfortable at first, but you do it anyway and you keep going. Little things equal big things over time. They build up and they grow. And that's how you become who you want to be. That's how you embody your future self. So let me just put a little, little bow, wrap this one up. When you're on social media, remember that it's not real life. Social media is a highlight reel. It's the best moments for most people. Don't compare yourself to what you see on social media. Be inspired. That's great. But do not be unkind to yourself. Do not pick yourself apart because you see other people on there being more successful or more healthy or whatever. If there's something that you see that somebody else is doing, learn to implement it yourself. The next thing is to embrace discomfort. That's always going to be my message. Embrace discomfort. Do it anyway. Do it scared. Be authentic. Be yourself. Be unapologetically yourself. And remember that taking care of yourself is not selfish. That taking care of yourself, taking time for yourself, going on solo trips, that's self care. And that's how you fill up your cup and you show up as a better version of yourself for everybody in your life. And my friends, speaking of showing up for yourself and taking time for yourself, I want to remind you that the One Girl Travel Club is here for you. If solo travel is something that you desire, if you want to get more comfortable doing things by yourself, whether it's going to a concert, whether it's meeting new people, traveling, whatever it is, the One Girl Travel Club is here for you. It's where I can coach you. It's where I'm giving you lessons every month. You have a full library full of lessons that are going to help you feel confident about doing things by yourself, about traveling, about your mindset. There's everything in there for you. And I would be honored to have you to join me and my incredible community. And not only that, if you want really deep coaching where you are just ready to make big changes in your life, I offer one-on-one coaching, and I would love to coach you on whatever it is your goal is, whether it's growing your social media, whether it's solo traveling, whether it's starting a business, whatever it is. Let's get into it. Let's do it. I want to see you succeed, and this is my passion. So come to me, send me an email, ask me your questions. I'm here to answer them. We can set up a free discovery call to see if it's right fit. And I look forward to working with you. And of course, I will see you in your inbox on Friday with the One Girl Travel March edition of the manifesto with my breaking news of the second One Girl Travel group trip experience. I cannot wait for you to see it, and I will talk to you soon, my friends. Bye. One last thing before we go. If you are a solo traveler, if you have experienced the power of solo travel and solo travel has impacted your life in a positive way, I want to hear from you because I'm starting to have guests on the One Girl Travel podcast, and I'm so excited about it. I want you, if you have a story to tell, if you have knowledge to share, to reach out to me and let's set something up because I would love to have you on my podcast to share your story with my community. So send me an email at contact@onegirltravel.com, and or you can send me a DM on social media, whichever, and let me know what you would want to talk about if you were a guest on the podcast. And I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. All right, YouTubers, this one's just for you. You're not going to get this anywhere else, but I figured my behind the scenes today would be about podcasting. So when I started this podcast, I gave no thought to it. I decided on a Friday that I wanted to start podcasting. I went on Fiverr and hired my voice actor to do my introduction, which I'm obsessed with. I love my intro. Um, and then by Monday, I had published my first podcast episode. So if you're thinking about doing a podcast, do it. It was one of the easiest things I've ever done. Figured I'd share my gear with you since I'm here. I'm all mic'd up and everything. Because I know a lot of you want to do a podcast and you're overthinking it, and you might not think that you have the gear or the right thing to say, or that you need to batch content for like weeks before you can even publish it. And none of that's true. You really don't need much. So let me share what I have. I am working off a MacBook Pro, so I do have GarageBand. That's where I record all my podcasts. As you can see today, I have my headphones on. I usually do have my headphones on, but because I've been doing YouTube videos, I was trying not to wear them, but it's easier for me to hear my voice through there to make sure everything sounds clear. So these are old Beats headphones. You can use anything you want, but these are just my old Beats. They are wired into my microphone. My microphone is a JLab microphone. You can see it right here. Okay. Let me take my portrait mode off and I'll show you clear. Okay. So you can see my microphone's here, right? Then I have, it's called Neewer, Neewer. This is my windscreen, I think it's called. Not an expert on this, like I said. I just got this handy arm here that goes up and down. Just so it would take up less space on my desk. And okay, I got the arm, I got the screen, I got the mic, I got the headphones, and I got the computer. And that's basically it. So when you record your podcast, you can record it on whatever software you want. You can even do it over Zoom and just take that audio out of it. Um, but you can record it anywhere. GarageBand has been super easy. I've never used it before until I started podcasting, so it was very easy to learn. And then you need a hosting site. I personally use Buzzsprout. I think it's great. It's not that expensive, and that's it. Then once I publish it, it goes right out to all of you, and it's that's it. So it's really simple, and I just want to help you realize that it is an option if that's something that you want to do. Podcasting is fun. I think it's such a great way to offer information and also build relationships. I feel like I'm talking to you all, and I really enjoy that. It feels better than, just typing all the time. Like I said, I'm more of a social person. I enjoy speaking. I enjoy talking. Um, and yeah, and you do not need to batch all your content. You don't have to have a script. As I said, I don't script my podcast episodes. It's usually what's on top of mind for me, but you can absolutely do that. You can script if you want to. You can write out ideas. It's very simple. If you want to do a podcast, do it. Don't worry about the name. Don't worry about the image. You can always change it. Go on Canva, create like, your logo or whatever for your podcast. And that's it. Don't worry about it. Just do it. It's fun. All right. I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a little motivation to start your own podcast if that's something you so desire. And I will talk to you next week, my friends. Be sure to get that get on the mailing list if you haven't already. All right, onegirltravel.com. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the One Girl Travel Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can find out more about your host on our website, onegirltravel.com, or follow her on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and TikTok. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.